Good morning. Welcome to RSBN Live on this Tuesday, May 27th. Hopefully you had a wonderful weekend with your family, with your friends, and also as we pay respects to our fallen military. If you were watching RSBN yesterday and saw Secretary Hegseth and saw Vice President J.D. Vance and saw the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, speak at Arlington National Cemetery, tears must have been brought to your eyes, because I know for me, definitely with those speeches and the specifics about them, it was very, very emotional, to be honest with you. And it is something that is emotional when you lose a loved one. And it's still something to remember. It's something to remember to thank a veteran, too, to say thank you for the freedom. Thank you for what you are doing or did for our country. Well, I remember actually just a few weeks back, I flew to DCA there in DC, and there was one of those military honor flights where a number of veterans from the state of Alaska were actually flying into Washington, just as you see there, flying right in there, and saw the two monuments, the Washington Monument, the Jefferson Memorial, saw the Capitol building, saw the White House. And it was something that these military honor flights, they pay for these veterans all around the country to fly in and see Washington, D.C. And it was great to have the chance to meet everyone, but it was also great because we saw all of the passengers in Washington, D.C., regardless of background and who they voted for and all this different stuff. It was great to see everyone standing up, clapping, and cheering for the veterans as they came off of the plane at the gate there. And you know, if you would have taken a poll, who here voted for President Trump? Probably 70 to 80%, because that's what really happened in our country, right? It just seems like it, with all of the bogus stuff that was happening over the past 4 years. So, yeah, it was really good to see that, the honor flight back in D.C. just about a month ago. And then we're looking forward to showing you a number of things that we're going to talk about this week for programming notes, including, of course, we're going to go over some of the highlights of yesterday's Memorial Day ceremony and service at Arlington National Cemetery, but also looking at the week ahead. We know that on Friday, and RSBN, we love to talk about this, Friday is Rally Day in America in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. President Trump to speak at U.S. Steel. So returning to the Keystone State, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, which went to President Trump, of course, in the 2024 election, along with every other swing state. We are seeing that there are some on the left side of the aisle trying to rally Pennsylvania already for the midterms, which is not until November of next year, but still very important midterms. And I'm sure everything will be ramping up towards that in a bit. But until then, we're exactly 127 days, 127, into President Trump's second great administration. Glad you're joining us live as we kick off this week, as in outside of a holiday weekend here on Right Side. So looking forward to sharing any coverage that we get when it comes to live events, live press conferences, any executive order signings, any speeches by the president. As of right now, a smaller schedule today. So what we're going to do is just go over a number of items. We're going to bring in some live guests, including RSBN host Christina Luren will join us live. I believe she's in Nashville for the live picture then. Also, we'll have John Strand of America Frontline Doctors, to talk to us about Tina Peters, who is in jail, a Gold Star mom in Colorado, over some lawfare really that happened to her. So we'll talk about that in a bit. Speaking of that, Tommy Robinson out there in the UK, now a free man and someone that loves freedom and speaks about it to as many people as he can in Europe and around the world. Actually holding a MAGA and MEGA, Make England Great Again and Make America Great Again, and the whole freedom movement event coming up. He comes right out of jail and he says, all right, let's get back to it. Because really, freedom of speech is a beautiful thing. As long as it's not an attack of violence, right? You're not threatening somebody. I mean, if you're going to say, hey, I love President Trump, I love freedom, or I want that leader to do a better job, you should be able to say that and not fear at all. And that's that weaponization of the government that President Trump is squashing. It's not happening anymore, and we hope our leaders continue to have justice be served. Now, it's Tuesday after a holiday weekend. So let's get back into just kind of the flow of it right now as it is 11:06 Tuesday, May 27th. Let's go into a few sponsors and then we'll get into some videos and do some live interviews here. So glad you're joining us on this Tuesday, May 27th. allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. So you're looking at ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, methylene blue, and more than 200 essential medications right there at your fingertips. All you have to do is go to allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Now, those are some fancy big words. Some of you may have heard of them, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, methylene blue, but there's also amoxicillin or penicillin. So if you're looking to get this prescription filled and have no pushback from a doctor or a pharmacy about ivermectin or other things, there's more than 200 essential medications, as I mentioned, and antibiotics. You can just go to allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. They also have medical kits, and you can order in bulk. We'll talk about more of that in a bit. RSBN 20 is the percentage off there, 20% off by using that code RSBN 20. Also, let's switch over to Colonial Metals Group. freegoldguide.com/RSBN, freegoldguide.com/RSBN. Really, I could stop there almost. I'm going to continue, but once you get that info kit and you page through it, it's a beautiful info kit. You'll learn all about gold, silver, tax-sheltered IRAs, 401ks, 100% tax-free. The reasons why it's important to put your money into gold and silver, especially those of you that have a retirement or savings, you want to put some of that money or all of it into gold and silver. You have that opportunity there with the great company Colonial Metals Group, a great sponsor here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. Once again, I'm Matthew Alvarez. It's RSBN Live. It is 11:07 Tuesday, May 27th. And speaking of 27, we're 127 days into President Trump's second administration. Happy 127th day. I mean, this has been a lot of winning, a lot of great accomplishments. We also are still wanting to see a number of things happen, but he's only in office for 4 months. So there's a lot of time left. And we hope that the Senate will pass the big, beautiful bill. We'll get into some of that information from the rock star Stephen Miller, who posted something on X recently, just listing a number of reasons why this is important, but also what it will actually do. Interestingly enough, over the past 4 years, if there was any bills or any 1,000-page this or 2,000-page that, you'd never know what it's in it. Some of the people wouldn't even read it in Congress. They just know, oh, it comes from so-and-so Democratic congressman or woman. Let's just do what they say. And it's this terrible thing against we the people. I think that's the thing that we the people were so sick and tired of back in 2015. And I'm not saying every congressperson or everybody in the House of Representatives or everybody in the Senate or everybody in government, but there's a good portion of that DC swamp that just was like, well, I'm famous now, and that's what I couldn't be famous in anything else, so I'm famous in this, and now I'm going to screw over the American people. That's pretty much what some of them have done. I'm not talking about the true patriots in there. I'm not talking about Eli Crane, and I'm not talking about MTG. I'm not talking about those like Carrie Lake who ran for governor and should have won that. I'm not talking about those people. It's just we know who the establishment people are who have been there forever and just like to hear themselves speak. Let's go to some videos because I don't want to always hear my voice, and I don't know if you do either, but I do know this. It's great to hear from President Trump. So let's go to the Army grad highlight video. This was from Saturday morning in West Point. So we'll start there. We'll go through some of those videos, then we'll get to yesterday, which again was powerful. If you're just joining us, how about those speeches by the president and the vice president and Secretary of Defense? Powerful speeches and really heartfelt. And that's the difference between outsiders that really care and really are doing something for we the people and those that might sound eloquent but don't give one rat's you-know-what. And that's what we love about President Trump. He cares. He wouldn't have gone through what he went through over the past 4 years if he didn't. So let's go to that video from Saturday morning.
Every cadet on the field before me should savor this morning, because this is a day that you will never, ever forget. You could have done anything you wanted. You could have gone anywhere. You could have gone to any school. This is one of the hardest schools to get into. Instead of sports teams and spreadsheets and software, you chose a life of service. The job of the U.S. Armed Forces is not to host drag shows to transform foreign cultures, but to spread democracy to everybody around the world at the point of a gun. The military's job is to dominate any foe and annihilate any threat to America anywhere, anytime. West Point cadets don't just have the brightest minds, you also have the bravest hearts and the noblest souls. You're amazing people. I could not be more proud to serve you as your commander-in-chief. Each of you continues down the same hallowed path walked by titans and legends of U.S. military lore. America's Army has never failed us, and with leaders like the West Point class of 2025, the Army will never fail. The sacrifice that they made was not merely for a single battle, a long-ago victory, or a fleeting triumph, decades or centuries past. Their sacrifice was for today, tomorrow, and every morning thereafter. Every child that lives in peace, every home that is filled with joy and love, every day the Republic stands is only possible because of those who did what had to be done when duty called, and the cost was everything to them and to their families. Our debt to them is eternal, and it does not diminish with time. It only grows and grows and grows with each passing year. The greatest monument to their courage is not carved in marble or cast in bronze. It's all around us, an American nation, 325 million strong, which will soon be greater than it has ever been before. It will be.
Definitely quite the speech yesterday from the Commander-in-Chief there, seeing two videos back-to-back, one from the Army graduates on Saturday morning and then yesterday's Memorial Day speech. We have a number of videos coming up, a number of live interviews as well. Coming up at 12 o'clock, we'll be talking to RSBN host Christina Luren. At 12:30, America Frontline Doctors John Strand will join us to talk about Tina Peters. After the break, we're going to go to Brightcore, the great owner, Kim Bright. We'll talk to her about her product, but also it's always great to hear from her about MAGA and making America healthy again. Let's go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
You've heard how hard it can be to get access to medications like ivermectin, all the things they don't want you to take because they're actually effective and they don't cost all that much, right? You've seen that one before. So it's critical to have something like that on hand for any emergency and to be prepared in a time of crisis. And that's why I want to tell you about All Family Pharmacy. They're cutting through the nonsense, and they make it easy to get hard to find medications when you need them most. They'll provide the prescription, no hoops to jump through, no waiting room, no hassle, and they deliver it right to your door. All Family Pharma even lets you order in bulk so you can stay ahead of the curve. Head over to allfamilypharmacy.com for 10% off your first order. Again, allfamilypharmacy.com. It's simple. Get the 10% savings. Be prepared.
I'm Elmer Heinrich, the 91-year-old formulator of Immuno 150, an incredible nutritional supplement. There's nothing like it. Now, Immuno 150 is different because it contains 70 plant-derived minerals and 80 other nutrients. Dr. Linus Pauling, known for vitamin C, was instrumental in convincing me to get into the mineral business in 1983. He said the world is sick due to a lack of minerals in topsoil. He said the body needs 60 minerals, but the average food and supplement has no more than 12. That's the reason for Immuno 150. Since its inception, it has had a powerful impact on the lives of thousands of people who could not get any help from various supplements they took or their doctor. Now, I suggest you try Immuno 150 and see what 70 minerals, CoQ10, and 80 nutrients can do for you. Look at the two videos on our website. Millions have. Now, consider placing an order for Immuno 150 online or call our toll-free number. I know you'll be glad you did.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat live show. Look, don't forget to check me out right here on RSBN Network. Be sure to watch the show on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. Yes, it's imperative that you do so, okay? I look to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
To celebrate our newest launch, Rev 7, I'm bringing you an amazing introductory offer, plus an exclusive overstock sale that you're not going to want to miss. Rev 7 is our premium energy drink that tastes great and gives you energy all day with no jitters and no crashes. That's because there's no sugar and no caffeine. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7 that for a limited time you can try our 3-pack absolutely free. Or check out our Percale bed sheets. I can't believe I'm even going to say this. Every color, every style, every size, only $29.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% on our Rev 7 12-packs or try our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. And our Percale bed sheets, all sizes, only $29.88, even the queens and kings. Inventory is extremely limited, so order now.
Welcome back to RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez. Thanks so much for joining us on this Tuesday, May 27th. Again, this is day 127 into President Trump's second administration, and we are going to cover a lot of the accomplishments that have happened and also looking to the future of the big, beautiful bill. We'll get into some specifics from the rock star Stephen Miller, who posted on X a number of reasons why this is a great bill, of course, that already passed the House and why it needs to pass the Senate. In the meantime, let's go to a number of sponsors, including allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. You see on your screen there the code RSBN20. It'll get you 20% off. This goes up until the end of next month, end of June. Usually it's a 10% deal. Now it's 20%. Ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and also methylene blue, among other essential medications that you can get at 20% off. You can order in bulk as well. And sometimes doctors or pharmacists won't fill the order for you, especially for like ivermectin. But you know what? You can get it here, allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. I'm a believer in ivermectin as well here. Allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Let's also go to another great sponsor, Brightcore. MyBrightcore.com is the website to go to. You're talking gut health, immune support, anti-aging properties, and this product is Kimchi One. If you want to know about kimchi and what it's all about, it's a probiotic. We're going to get into more details here because the owner of Brightcore is actually joining us now. So let's go to Kim Bright at Brightcore. Of course, she's the founder of mybrightcore.com, and you can also call that number you see on your screen as we get more information all about this great product. Kim, thank you so much for joining us here on Right Side Broadcasting Network on this Tuesday, May 27th.
Well, thanks, Matt, for having me back. Always a pleasure.
Definitely. And I love talking to you, too, about making America great again, but also making America healthy again. Let's get that 30,000-foot view for those that are just watching now, maybe just hearing about more details on kimchi, what it really is, and what benefits it has.
Well, it's so important because people don't understand to ask what's important in my body and not accept shots and things like this and drugs. They need to find out, well, if I don't feel well, what's causing it? And everything starts from our gut, Matt. Our health and our sickness starts from our gut. So when you pay attention to your gut,
it will pay attention to you. And 80%, 70 to 80% of our immune system is in our gut. So we have to fight off in our air, in our water, in our soils, in our foods. We're fighting off all the time this deluge of chemicals that's there, the fluoride in the water, all the extra chemicals that have found their way into the water from the pesticides and the herbicides. We're inundated constantly with these things. And so where do they go? They go to our gut microbiome. That gut microbiome is a colony of all kinds of living things, and like bad things, fungus, molds, parasites, yeasts. And so we want, and it also has good guys. But when we eat all these foods that are containing and breathe the air and drink the water that contain all these chemicals, we literally kill off our good guys in our gut, and we must replace them or we get on this downward spiral. Then next thing we know, we're on antibiotics, on rounds and rounds of antibiotics. We're not feeling well. Then we get hooked into the drugs because now we go to the doctor and we've got symptoms. So the first thing to do is, why am I feeling bad? And look at what's going into your body and take care of that gut.
Exactly. So would you say, it, figuratively speaking, it's a 1-2 punch? It's detox from as many chemicals and processed junk that's out there, and then 2, get something like kimchi 1 to go and take care of the gut health, right?
Right. And the thing about kimchi 1, kimchi is a food that's been used for centuries in Korea. Now, the problem is it tastes funny to Americans and it smells funny because our taste buds are completely different. So what we decided to do is, let's make it so we can get all these benefits, because kimchi is loaded with probiotics. It's got over 900 different unique probiotics in it as well. So 900 probiotics plus unique probiotics, that means that you're sending these guys, the good guys, in to get rid of the bad guys out of the gut. But you can't keep putting in the source of what has caused the problem in the first place. So you've got to watch your labels, take out the chemicals, the ultra-processed foods, all these things that are contributing. Now you got to put the good guys in. And kimchi 1 is in a capsule, 3 a day, give you that punch to your gut that's going to put the good guys in to win the war in your gut, and that's what you really need.
If you're just joining us now, this is Kim Bright, the founder of My Brightcore right here, joining us live. There's been so much talk and some controversy about the vaccinations lately, but you've previously taught us the natural ways to boost our immunity, specifically the health of the gut microbiome that you're talking about there. Can you explain a little bit more really how it works, though?
Well, again, I go back to, the solution has been presented for decades and generations to us, like, we all need to be vaccinated. We all need to use drugs. No, that's not really how I feel about it. What we need to do is go back and find out, what is our body about and what makes our body run? And what makes our body run is not drugs, okay? What makes our body run is clean air, clean food, clean water, and getting rid of all these chemicals, which RFK Jr. is on top of and doing, thank God. And so that is the important thing. And then we have overused antibiotics. Anti means against, biotic means life. We have gone against life. So we've gone against the good guys, because when you use antibiotics, you kill the bad guys off, but you're also killing the good guys off. Then we don't put good guys back in. Now we've got a downward spiral, and the only way to go is down, and then we're on more drugs. So we must pay attention to our gut health, to the good guys in our gut, and by taking kimchi 1 every day, it's convenient, it's easy, and you can do it, and you can build those good guys up in your gut.
I was talking to a buddy over the weekend about all of this too. You know how President Trump has the cabinet that's taking away corruption from our different, government entities, right? And then we see the media, how they're corrupt. But then you've got the answer and solution is conservative media, podcasts, and all that. But even in the health system, the amount of corruption that has happened over the decades. And finally, we have RFK Jr. with Make America Healthy Again, thanks to President Trump as well, thanks to people like you, to be able to reverse this thing, detox from all that terrible food, and get the good stuff back. How happy are you to have someone like RFK Jr. kicking some serious you-know-what?
I'm thrilled. I've been at this battle for almost 50 years trying to help people. And when you've got big pharma, big ag, all these big, food companies, big tobacco, which ended up buying most of our big food companies, when you've got all of them trying to bring down people's health so they stay sick, so they can get on the machine that they've made and be a cog in the machine and keep taking the drugs, I'm very happy because we're going to finally get at what really works in our bodies and get at a healthcare system where people understand how they can take control of their health, what's been causing their sickness, and get off of that machinery.
Exactly. And still within that process, though, there's still a lot of medical needs that do need ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine now,
Yes.
and other things that are out there. But you're trying to start from the beginning and saying, hey, the reason why we've gotten into this mess is because of all the chemicals and toxic junk in our food. Can you explain, well, the answer is pretty easy, I know, but can you explain why you created Kimchi One?
Well, again, I realized, counseling over 15,000 people directly all these years, I realized that people didn't really understand how valuable it was to take care of their gut. And you have to have an easy way to take care of your gut. So I want to give them the most powerful superfood as far as fermented foods out there that they would use every single day so they could make themselves healthy, because the gut affects the brain, affects the heart, affects the liver, affects every organ, every tissue, every cell in our body. So if you don't clean that gut up, you've got problems elsewhere too. So that's why I created Kimchi One, and it makes it convenient for people. And I want to see people healthy, and I want to see them understanding where their health starts.
Make America healthy again, but also make America great again. Your thoughts again about what President Trump's been up to, and just what it's like to have a commander-in-chief that really cares about we the people.
That's right. Love Trump. Love RFK Jr. I love the people that are cleaning up the swamp. And if we look at our gut's gotten like a swamp. The swamp rats are in there. The demon rats are in there that we got to get out. Kimchi One's the fighter coming in, taking those guys out. So, Matt, if I can I give your viewers an exclusive today so they can start getting healthy again in their gut?
Definitely. Go ahead.
All right. Well, go to mybrightcore.com/RSBN, and we'll give you 25% off. Use that code RSBN. Or I prefer you call us, because I'm an educator and I like to educate you as much as possible. So please call in. Call 888-722-0936. Going to give you up to 50% off your order. Free shipping, and if you're one of the first 100 callers, we're also going to throw in a free bottle of vitamin D3. So again, that number is 888-722-0936.
Kim Bright, the founder of BrightCore. Thank you again for joining us. We look forward to seeing you again soon. And the Kimchi One product is flying off the shelves in some cases. I know Robert McNeely has it too. A lot of people getting this stuff. Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you. Blessed be.
Amen. You too. All right, so it's the bottom of the hour, Tuesday, May 27th. Thanks again for streaming in live right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's RSBN Live. Again, thank you for watching this coverage, but also yesterday, of course, with Memorial Day. What coverage that was, with President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance and Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, of course, delivering those powerful speeches as we look at the program here at 11:29 Tuesday, May 27th. Also, we'll get to some more videos coming up. Let's go to a commercial break. I'm Matthew Alvarez. We'll be right back.
You've heard how hard it can be to get access to medications like ivermectin, all the things they don't want you to take because they're actually effective and they don't cost all that much, right? You've seen that one before. So it's critical to have something like that on hand for any emergency and to be prepared in a time of crisis. And that's why I want to tell you about All Family Pharmacy. They're cutting through the nonsense, and they make it easy to get hard-to-find medications when you need them most. They'll provide the prescription, no hoops to jump through, no waiting room, no hassle, and they deliver it right to your door. All Family Pharma even lets you order in bulk so you can stay ahead of the curve. Head over to allfamilypharmacy.com for 10% off your first order. Again, allfamilypharmacy.com. It's simple. Get the 10% savings. Be prepared.
I'm Elmer Heinrich, the 91-year-old formulator of Immuno 150, an incredible nutritional supplement. There's nothing like it. Now, Immuno 150 is different because it contains 70 plant-derived minerals and 80 other nutrients. Dr. Linus Pauling, known for vitamin C, was instrumental in convincing me to get into the mineral business in 1983. He said the world is sick due to a lack of minerals in topsoil. He said the body needs 60 minerals, but the average food and supplement has no more than 12. That's the reason for Immuno 150. Since its inception, it's had a powerful impact on the lives of thousands of people who could not get any help from various supplements they took or their doctor. Now, I suggest you try Immuno 150 to see what 70 minerals, CoQ10, and 80 nutrients can do for you. Look at the 2 videos on our website. Millions have. Now, consider placing an order for Immuno 150 online or call our toll-free number. I know you'll be glad you did. I'm Elmer Heinrich, the 91-year-old formulator.
All right, so it's 11:31. Thanks again for streaming in live on RSBN Live as we are looking forward to the week ahead, including Friday, Rally Day in America in the Steel City, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. President Trump to deliver a big rally speech there, and specifically about steel staying in the Steel City and in our country. So looking forward to that coverage. I know you guys are too. It'll be great to see we the people out there in Western Pennsylvania. Remember, Pennsylvania, a lot of red in that state. Of course, one went to President Trump, along with all the swing states in the 2024 election. What a great state it is, and it's wonderful to see President Trump returning to the Pittsburgh area. Again, this is going to be a great speech. Looking forward to it, but also RSBN, Rally, President Trump, MAGA. It all comes together. It's all synonymous, in my opinion. So looking forward to it. I hope you are too. That's Friday. Until then, we have a number of things to talk about. If you're just joining us now, let's go over a few things from the weekend. Once again, I want to play a video for you. Since we already played the Army grad video from Saturday at West Point, let's shift now to something of a somber note and a somber moment of a military service member playing taps at Arlington National Cemetery. Obviously, those speeches yesterday were powerful. It was great to hear people cheering for President Trump and the Vice President and the Secretary of Defense, which we also have some new video from the Pentagon today with Pete Hegseth. We're going to be playing that here in a minute, but let's just listen in on taps just from Arlington National Cemetery from over the past weekend. Powerful moments yesterday. I know a lot of you that watch Right Side, I was watching yesterday too, Robert McNeely in studio, and when President Trump and the Vice President, J.D. Vance, and Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, when they were delivering those speeches, there were moments there that, it's heartfelt, of course, and those of you that have family members that serve in the military or have lost a family member overseas, it's obviously difficult to have Memorial Day, but still, to know what was done for our country is part of the whole equation here. Without our service members, without, think about it, the military, the U.S. Army, 1775, before our country was even named, United States, or going on that direction, in 1776, it was the Army. They were there. And it's going to be awesome. June 14th will be the huge Army celebration, the parade, 6,600 soldiers, helicopters, Army vehicles. I'm sure the Army Strikers are going to be there. Those vehicles are actually on the border as well, on the southern border. So yeah, June 14th, that's a Saturday. Of course, President Trump's birthday, but outside of that, it's Flag Day. It's going to be a great patriotic day. It's not even July 4th yet. So looking forward to July 4th, of course, this year. And then next year in Iowa, that's going to be the site of the huge America 250, the 250th birthday of the United States of America, the land of the free, the home of the brave. And yes, you can watch it, of course, right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. So all of this brought to you by a number of different sponsors, including angelpace.com out of Spring, Texas. So just go to angelpace.com. You can use the RSBN promo code for a percentage off of that product, but also the other products that you see on there. They hire military veterans as well. So angelpace.com, the Miracle Cream, and again, there's a few products there you want to check out. Use that RSBN promo code. Let's shift over to our next sponsor at 11:36 this morning, Tuesday, May 27th. Tax Network USA. Tax Network USA, 800-357-1415 is the number. tnusa.com/RSBN. If you're looking to settle some back taxes, this is the patriotic group to do it with. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather be on the phone than on the internet when it comes to talking about a game plan, a financial game plan to get everything taken care of. So you have two choices, tnusa.com/RSBN or 800-357-1415, Tax Network USA. You can settle your back taxes now. 11:37, Tuesday, May 27th. Let's go to a recent video from the White House talking about the military. It's a pretty cool ad. Check it out.
No more distractions. No more electric tanks. No more gender confusion. No more climate change worship. We are laser focused on our mission of warfighting.
We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into. It's called peace through strength.
You look into the eyes of these young Americans who are giving up the best years of their life in a uniform to serve their nation. They are incredible.
Through our power and might, we will lead the world to peace. Our friends will respect us, our enemies will fear us, and the whole world will admire the unrivaled greatness of the United States military. We will replenish the pride of our armed forces, end the recruitment crisis.
We don't fight because we hate what's in front of us. We fight because we love what's behind us.
God bless you. God bless our armed forces. God bless our men and women serving overseas. And God bless the United States of America.
Peace through strength right there. President Trump, during the Commander-in-Chief ball, hours after swearing an oath to our country and delivering a great speech, said at the Commander-in-Chief ball, wouldn't it be great to have a military so strong we wouldn't even have to use it? And if we have to use it, it's obviously very strong. I mean, think about it. The F-47, the 6th-generation fighter jet's going to be, is getting worked on. I mean, a lot of great things when it comes to strengthening our military, bringing it back to what it was and even advancing into the future. So speaking of the military, let's go to the Department of Defense at the Pentagon. The Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, actually was just meeting some with world leaders, specifically from Poland. So let's go to that video right now.
Honor, guard. Coast. Attention.
Coast. Right shoulder up. Coast ready, cut.
see you again. Our first overseas trip as Secretary of Defense was to Poland. Had the opportunity to have dinner at the palace with you and your wonderful wife, Paulina. Give her my best. You were such a great host to us, and so it's time for us to return the favor here at the Pentagon. So welcome on behalf of our team, many of which were not yet on our team when I saw you in February. So get a chance to have you introduce and meet a lot of our great folks. The relationship between the United States and Poland is rock solid. Both countries demonstrate peace through strength. President Trump also sends his regards and appreciation for all Polish leadership and the Polish people do. A model ally for the United States there on the eastern flank of NATO, and we're going to be encouraging 5%. We don't have to encourage Poland. You are almost there already, leading the way on investment in Europe's largest land army, modernizing that force, and the defense industrial base, which is critically important, not just obviously here in the United States, but in Europe as well. Your country in incredible and important ways apply common sense. You apply combat credible forces and a willingness to defend your own homeland, and a recognition of defense of your borders and your people is first and foremost, which is something President Trump has reestablished here in the United States as well. So I want to also and finally thank you for your great support of U.S. troops. 8,000 stationed rotationally and some permanently in Poland. I had a chance to talk to our troops there, and they could not be more grateful for the reception and the support that they receive, which is ongoing, not just financially, but in sort of the political and populist support for American troops. That partnership is as strong today as it's ever been. And so from the leadership of the United States, from President Trump, from the Defense Department, thank you for that support. Our close partnership, we're as close now as we've ever been, and we look forward to getting closer. And we welcome you here to the Pentagon. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary. I'm very glad to be here in Washington, D.C. today and to continue our productive dialogue. We have reached a pivotal moment in the history of enduring alliance between Poland and the United States. Strong Polish-American relations are reflected in many recent meetings on various political and military levels. In today's rapidly changing world, security challenges have become more serious, complex, and interconnected than ever before. That's why we fully support President Donald Trump's administration's efforts to achieve a just and lasting peace in Ukraine. We are sure, and our broad defense cooperation is the best proof that the United States of America remains the guarantor of global stability and development. I'm also certain that it was necessary to send Europe a strong message, a strong signal for burden sharing within NATO, recognizing that Europe must take greater responsibility for its own defense. Poland is proud to set an example. We are a NATO leader in defense spending, reaching nearly 5% of GDP. We have invested a lot in the American-made weapon systems by signing 128 contracts for over $60 billion. We recognize a significant development potential and mutual benefits arising from further development towards supporting Polish-American joint venture initiatives and service capabilities such as maintenance, repair, and overhaul. We are grateful for the US military presence in Poland, through the deployment of troops and the most advanced weapon systems, because it's a real contribution to strengthening our territory and our borders. This vital commitment provides Polish society with a strong sense of security and serves as an effective deterrence. Mr. Secretary, I'm confident that we share the same value and the same goals. Together we want to leverage our partnership on the next level and continue strengthening our enduring economic and military ties. Based on common experience, we see the importance of further cooperation not only in the areas of security, but also in the fields of development, research, and the new technologies. An example of which will be the participation of Polish astronaut Sławomir Znański in the American space mission. The great statesman Abraham Lincoln said, "The dogmas of quiet paths are inadequate to the stormy present. I'm confident that together with the United States of America, we can overcome every challenge and confront every threat." Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, America.
Very well said. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Press. Thank you, Press. We're leaving now. Thank you, Press. We're done. Thank you. We're leaving now. Thank you, Press. Thank you. We're leaving.
All right, the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, meeting with Polish leaders there. That happened this morning. So on tap for the president's schedule right now, there is not much on the schedule today. Of course, he has been quite busy just yesterday with that speech, but also he doesn't quit. He doesn't stop. He works every day, I believe, 7 days a week. It's always on his mind. He talks about it when he's at these speeches. He's like, if you're not stirring around a little bit at night, figuring out, well, what can I do with this situation? What can I do with that? That shows someone that is built and naturally built for the job, a natural born leader, as President Trump is. So we look forward to also, seeing the schedule throughout the week, but also on Friday, the huge rally. It'll be Rally Day in America here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. We have a number of Truth Social posts to look at from President Trump here in just a minute. We'll also shift over to X to see what the rock star himself, Stephen Miller, is saying about the big, beautiful bill and why the Senate needs to pass that to get to President Trump's desk. Speaking of great people, let's also go to, shifting gears slightly, the Department of Education with Linda McMahon. She actually recently released a message on camera. So let's go to that in just a second. Let's go to Colonial Metals Group, one of our great sponsors here at Right Side. freegoldguide.com/RSBN is the place to go. And you've got that QR code, takes you to the same spot. So whether you're going to type it in or you want to use the QR code, you can get that free gold guide sent to your house. Now, this is an info kit on gold and silver, tax-sheltered IRA, 401k backed in gold. We've got those BRICS nations out there trying to use their own currency instead of our dollar. But as Maganomics increases, as inflation drops, as jobs increase, as manufacturing becomes back here to be a superpower in this country, still having gold and silver as a backup plan and retirement and savings, a great plan, Colonial Metals Group. Also, mypillow.com/RSBN. So the beach sale has 50% off all the products. So there are more than 2,000 products on mypillow.com/RSBN. I've got one of them here today. This is the Go Anywhere pillow. So if you're driving or flying, why not use the Go Anywhere pillow? So mypillow.com/RSBN is the website, and we thank Mike Lindell for being an absolute rock star, as he has been, with quite a story, facing the rock bottom and overcame that thanks to Jesus and thanks to his grit. A great combination right there to keep going. Anyway, so doing great things, and obviously has a great products, so 50% off beach sale. So mypillow.com/RSBN. Let's shift over to Linda McMahon, where she delivered a on-camera address to we the people from the Department of Education. Here's that video.
Congratulations to all 2025 grads. Whether you're headed off to college or technical school, starting an apprenticeship program, or entering the workforce, take risks. You'll certainly fail sometimes, but you may also succeed. I can tell you the best lessons I've learned throughout my career came from the times I failed, because it's not about how you fall down, but it's about how you get back up. And perhaps most importantly, choose a career you're passionate about so you'll never feel like you've worked a day in your life. To the class of 2025, best of luck as you embark on the journey ahead.
A lot of truth right there from Linda McMahon, and you've heard that from President Trump as well. Do what you love to do. And sometimes it takes a minute to find that specific thing that you are literally made to do on this earth. I believe every one of us has a natural gift in something. But finding yours is the key to, I believe, success. And we know President Trump, man, he found his. So Pretty awesome to see that. Speaking of President Trump, before we get into more of the programming schedule, things coming up, and before we get into the X post from Stephen Miller about the big, beautiful bill, let's go to President Trump's Truth Social page and just read off some of the latest posts from the president. So this one was this morning at 9:07, so just a few hours ago. California, under the leadership of radical left Democrat Gavin Newsom, continues to illegally allow men to play in women's sports. This week, a transitioned male athlete at a major event won quote-unquote everything and is now qualified to compete in the quote-unquote state finals next weekend. As a male, he was a less than average competitor. As a female, this transition person is practically unbeatable. This is not fair and totally demeaning to women and girls. Please be hereby advised that large-scale federal funding will be held back, maybe permanently, if the EO, the executive order on this subject matter, is not adhered to. This from the president this morning. The governor himself said it is quote-unquote unfair. I will speak to him today to find out which way he wants to go. In the meantime, I am ordering local authorities, if necessary, to not allow the transition person to compete in the state finals. This is a totally ridiculous situation. End quote. That from President Trump earlier today. Also speaking about the European Union and some of the tariff and trade deals there. That post about 2 hours ago. And also 9 minutes ago, President Trump saying what Vladimir Putin doesn't realize is that if it weren't for me, lots of really bad things would have already happened to Russia. And I mean really bad. President Trump saying it in all caps. He's playing with fire, exclamation point, end quote, from President Trump. Literally 9 minutes ago from the president. Also, the White House, 9 minutes ago, talking about consumer confidence for May is stronger than expected on optimism for the trade deals. And so we're seeing that there post from the White House. So that's the latest on Truth Social. And let's go to some of our sponsors before we get into Stephen Miller's great post on X. Let's go to allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. You could save upwards of 20% off. And this is a really good time to order in bulk. Ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, methylene blue, amoxicillin, penicillin, all sorts of prescriptions there for you. There are more than 200 essential medications. Also, there are emergency kits, a travel kit, a first aid kit, so many different kits that you can get there. Now, the prescriptions, obviously, most of the time aren't going to be just filled by your doctor and your pharmacy because they say ivermectin is supposed to be used for this or that. Well, a lot of doctors that are enlightened and understand on the conservative side say, well, ivermectin actually works for X, Y, and Z. So you can get more information right there at allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. All right, so it is about 5 minutes from the top of the hour. Producer, we're going to the next one. Okay, angelpaste.com. Let's go there. RSBN is the promo code. You'll get a percentage off. A lot of great products on top of the Miracle Cream. This is out of Spring, Texas. They hire military veterans. They have great products there as well. An awesome sponsor here at the network, a longtime sponsor as well. So just go to angelpaste.com for more information. Use that RSBN promo code. Again, thank you guys so much for purchasing the various products that are on this network, because at the end of the day, we know that as a partnership, we're able to expand our coverage. We're able to bring all of the live coverage to you as there are press conferences, remarks, speeches, events, including coming up on Friday, Rally Day in America, May 30th from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. President Trump will have a speech there. So we're looking forward to showing that to you in its entirety right here on RSBN Live. All right, so it's 11:56 this morning, looking live at the U.S. Capitol building. You remember January 20th, 127 days ago, President Trump's words echoed off of the halls and the walls there in that Capitol building, saying specifically, might as well go to that part of it. I love repeating this line from President Trump. He says, "In everything we do, my administration will be inspired by a strong pursuit of excellence and unrelenting success. We will not forget our country." Let's just stop with that real quick, and I'll continue the speech that he delivered. We will not forget our country. Every one of you. I was driving yesterday, coming back from a trip. Of course, Memorial Day weekend, a lot of traveling. And I remember seeing an auto factory plant, and it was pretty late. and there were cars parked there. And I thought about, and I've worked overnight hours before, and I've worked in all sorts of industries. I've delivered auto parts before. I've worked at restaurants. I've worked in TV for about 2 decades now. But still, I get it. And to all of you that are working overnight hours or overtime or are really, gritty, getting the job done, I think about you. President Trump said, and he promised us, that he's not going to forget about our country. He's not going to forget about you in Wisconsin or Nevada or Mississippi or anywhere across the nation. He says he's not going to forget about it. He's not just going to be focused only in D.C. and that bubble and world leader stuff. And he's doing this for we the people. So he's not going to forget about our country. He also says we will not forget our Constitution. He spoke that there at the U.S. Capitol building. We can go on for a while about that, right? And then he also said we will not forget our God. Praise be to God. Praise be to Jesus for that. The Holy Bible, those of you that believe out there, it's great. Those of you that don't, maybe you will someday, but still, thank you for choosing us as we want to do as much conservative news coverage as possible as we continue wanting one main thing here, freedom here in this country. So President Trump saying that again, in everything we do, my administration will be inspired by a strong pursuit of excellence and unrelenting success. We will not forget our country, we will not forget our Constitution, and we will not forget our God. President Donald J. Trump, January 20th, 2025, some 127 days ago exactly, spoken in that building right there. Now living at that house down there, and we're glad he is. He also said this will be the most America First administration in history. Well, he's been answering that call, and promises made, promises kept with that specifically. All right, so in just a couple minutes, RSBN host Christina Luren, as you remember her, of course, at all the rallies. I believe she's in Nashville. We'll have a live interview with her coming up. And then John Strand with America Frontline Doctors will talk to us about Tina Peters, the whole situation with her in Colorado and all of that mess. Hopefully she can be free, just like Tommy Robinson out there in the UK. These people just want freedom, and they're helping that happen. So there should be nothing against that. And unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world. I mean, if you spoke out against a certain government in other countries, not good, unfortunately. Thank God for freedom, and hopefully more freedom will happen, because the free world is much larger than those few people trying to control the world, aka the deep state-ish and globalists. So let's get back to it. All right, let's go with the rock star Stephen Miller and this great post that he posted about the big, beautiful bill. And then Christina will be joining us here shortly. So I'm going to type that in here on X, and we'll go to Stephen Miller. He spoke a lot about why the Senate should be voting for this great bill. We know it passed in the House, so I'm looking for it here on the internet, and I'll get to it here in just a hot second. But I want to read it specifically because it's more than just those that he's talking about there. He lists about 20 of them, so we're going to get to that in a minute. But in the meantime, it's 12 o'clock. Thanks so much for joining us. It's the afternoon hour on the East Coast, 9 a.m. out there on the West Coast. Thanks for waking up with us as it's Tuesday, May 27th. All right, so getting to that post here in just a minute. And right about, yeah, so I have to find the whole thing. This is live TV for you, but I'm gonna get to it here. All right, I just want to make sure that you can see, of course, you can see that right there, as we are awaiting a great interview with Christina Luren coming up. Okay, so found it. Finally, took a minute. Thanks for hanging. All right, so Stephen Miller, he says, it is impossible to overstate how exceptional and extraordinary the one big beautiful bill truly is. It delivers enthusiastically on every major campaign promise in the 2024 landslide electoral mandate, as you see right there. I'll read some of it here, and then we'll go over it with Christina as well. As you see, the largest tax cut and reform in history. No tax on tips and overtime. I was just talking about those of you that are working that overtime, or at least overnights, and then maybe into overtime. No tax on those on overtime. Massive tax cut for fixed income seniors. Interest on car loans fully tax deductible if the car is American. fast-tracks new energy projects and provides protection against future regulation, terminates the Green New Deal, no welfare or government health care for illegals, ends waste, fraud, and abuse in government welfare, the largest welfare reform in history. This is from Stephen Miller, of course. Full upfront funding for the entire border wall and water barriers. We'll never need to ask Democrats for these funds, denying them leverage on all future annual appropriation bills. Pay raise for ICE and Border Patrol. They should totally get a pay raise. They're protecting our southern border and our northern border, and also out there on the seas, working indirectly with the Navy and the Coast Guard. Full funding for every border and immigration security priority the American people voted for, making it the most significant border and homeland bill in American history. Port security to keep fentanyl out of the country. Let's see what else here. Looking at the next list. Full funding for every border and immigration security priority, okay. Funds the Golden Dome, a state-of-the-art shield against enemy missile strikes on our soil. Defunds the transgender agenda and attacks on our kids. Cuts $1.6 trillion in net mandatory spending. It's the most pro-American tax bill ever, including 100% expensing on new American factories to ensure the future is made in the USA. That's a lot of information, but still, thank God that we have people that are truthful and transparent to know, hey, this is what's in this bill. And I don't know about you, but the $30,000 to $80,000 mark, 15% less on your taxes. So that's a large swath of the country, you know? So looking forward to all of these type of things happening. And it's right in that building right there where the House passed it. Looking forward to the Senate passing it and getting it down to that lower box right below me where President Trump can sign that thing. Maybe he'll sign it in the whole, in a joint session in front of everybody. Sign that thing. The big, beautiful bill. So, all right, so as soon as we see Christina Luren, our RSBN host live from Nashville, we'll be joining her and talking about just the accomplishments of President Trump. And also at 12:30, John Strand with America Frontline Doctors will talk to us about Tina Peters out there in Colorado and also just some of his insight as we look at the future schedule for President Trump. Again, May 30th, the rally. It's Rally Day in America in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And then June 14th, Flag Day, President Trump's birthday. There'll be a huge U.S. Army military parade. Let's stop there. Let's bring in RSBN host Christina Luren live from Nashville, Tennessee. I love Nashville. I love Tennessee. Christina, you're a rock star. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Matthew?
I'm doing wonderful. I mean, it's May 27th. We've got 127 days in. I don't count each day. I just did today. But, I mean, think about it. President Trump is kicking some serious butt out there. He's doing great for our country. What are some of your highlights or your thoughts over the past 4 months? And also, what would you like to see on top of that?
He's been going full throttle. Hard to keep up with the man, but he's done so much good for this country in such a short amount of time. And when you look back at the last 4 months, obviously the border, that goes without saying. He secured our nation, our homeland. We can sleep better at night, especially those of us who have young children. I think that's huge. He restored respect on the global stage, something that we were lacking under the Biden administration. Obviously, we're the laughing stock of the world. Not too long ago, President Trump has stepped in, commanded respect. He has done so many great things. I think for me personally, I'm amazed at what he's been able to do with energy policy and turning the spigot back on and making America not only completely dependent on our own resources. We don't need outside resources. We have a wealth of gold underneath our feet. But with the EPA, the permitting process, he has streamlined that. When it comes to nuclear facilities, you used to have to wait 10 years in order for some of these facilities to get permitted and to get up and running. But he has taken that stretch of time and reduced it to just 18 months. So, I mean, the list goes on. We could talk about it for days. I want to give you a chance to talk, of course, but I could go on about the amazing things that President Trump has done just so far. I mean, we look at the DOJ and restoring order and stopping the weaponization of the Justice Department. That's also huge. But I think you know, it has been a little turbulent. He told us it would be. We are going to reap the benefits of his strong policy decisions over the course of the next few years. I think specifically between 2026 to 2028, America is headed for a huge economic turnaround. And I think that that's when people are really going to start to wake up and realize, those on the left, that this man knows what he's doing, and we are blessed by God to have him in office.
Exactly, and we're going to talk about the midterms and for next year in just a second, the importance of that. But let's just talk about within the 24/7 news cycle, Christina. I mean, yesterday's Memorial Day speeches by the President, the Vice President, Secretary of Defense. I mean, the amount of people that were there respecting the President, but outside of all that, everybody respecting our fallen military members. Did you catch any of the speeches, and also just your thoughts about such a powerful day for our country?
It is the ultimate day for our country, because the freedoms that we wake up and enjoy on a day-to-day basis that many of us take for granted, we have these freedoms because these soldiers paid the ultimate price. They decided to stand up for what this country stands for. They went into service because they wanted to protect America, and the freedoms that we enjoy in this country came at a great cost, an immeasurable cost. You don't have to look too far in a person's family tree to find somebody who served in the military, whether it was a grandfather or an uncle or an aunt, or even one of your immediate parents. The rich culture that the military allows us to enjoy, we're the most blessed nation in the world, and not just in the world, in our nation, in our world's history. That's the United States of America, and it's because of our fallen soldiers that we get to enjoy and pass these on to our kids, the freedoms in this country. So I think yesterday was just one of those days where you can see that President Trump wasn't just headed out there to Arlington to honor a tradition. He was out there because he really pays the ultimate respect to those who have stood up and fought for this country. And not just for those who fought for this country, he also honored those who are the family members, because they also pay a big sacrifice when it comes to the military. And, you know, let us know in the chat who in your family has served, who in your family answered the call and served this country, because you'll see, if you just read the chat, I'm sure so many have had people, direct family members, distant family members, those who have decided to do what's right for this country. And our military, they deserve so much respect. And President Trump is honoring our military in a beautiful way on the 14th of June. I'm sure you know, I'm sure RSBN is planning major coverage of the Army's 250th anniversary parade. It also coincides with President Donald J. Trump's 79th birthday. Is going to be huge, expected to even rival the opening ceremonies of the Olympics. That's how big this is going to be. And when he makes these big moments of recognition and tribute to our military, it makes more people want to sign up for it. And we know that under Biden, military recruitment was very, very low, and now it's at an all-time high under President Donald Trump. So things are turning around. The Golden Dome is huge. The nuclear threat becomes more and more real each and every day. And knowing that we're shielded from nuclear attacks from our foreign adversaries, I mean, that's as big as it gets, because I feel like that's where people are more and more concerned. They're concerned about drone attacks. They're concerned about a nuclear attack on our own country. And some of these countries can reach us. You know, we're in striking distance of some of our foreign adversaries. So it's really important to know, to be able to sleep at night knowing that the world is getting more and more technological, and that advancement's not going to stop. So the fact that he's 2 steps ahead, 10 steps ahead in many cases, we're never going to truly appreciate or be able to appreciate what he's done until he's long out of office. So I'm grateful for him and what he's been able to do. And yesterday just drives home, you know, he's the best commander in chief that this country's ever had. And he never even served in the military.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just awesome to see him yesterday and deliver that speech. It was really difficult to hear the parts when he would talk about the family members, you know, the surviving family members that were there, and talking, you know, to the kids and to the spouses. It was tough to listen to, but definitely the real deal president. I mean, last go around for Biden this past 4 years, what a fake. and now we have something that's so real. And I think, Christina, that is just when it's, you know how people say, tell it like it is? Let's have a little bit of that kind of chat right now. How about it? I mean, let's just tell it like it is, because President Trump is resonating with we the people at a level that I don't think any president ever has in my lifetime.
No, he hasn't. And I mean, tell it like it is. We got to tell our kids like it is as well. I know you're a new father. I'm the mom of a 5-year-old, and I have no problem explaining that this is why we have what we have here in America. This is why you get to, watch your YouTube and go out and ride your bike in a safe and secure neighborhood. It's because of our soldiers. It's because of those who sacrificed everything. And so teaching them the importance of this history, how good we have it here, and why it's directly tied to our U.S. military is important. We need to pray for those who have lost people in the military who answered the call to serve, because I heard you talking about this. You really drove it home for me. These people didn't come home. They had to say goodbye for the last time to their kids, in some cases, to their husbands, to their wives. And it's so that we could enjoy these freedoms, that we wake up, you go to Mexico, you go to one of these third world countries, and you really see the difference between how we live here and how they live there, and the securities that we have here. And it's so easy to take them for granted because they're so readily available to us. But, this came at the highest possible price. And so thank you to everybody who has served out there. If you have a loved one who has served, we thank you, just because I know how hard it is to be in a relationship with somebody in the military. I mean, even if someone in the reserves, you got to say goodbye to them once a month for 2 to 3 days, because they've got to go and continue their service. So it's huge, and they deserve so much more recognition than they have been given. And President Trump has stepped up and said, hey, it's time to pay attention to what these people have done and what we get to enjoy because of them.
There are 2 speeches that I'm thinking about right now. Warren, Michigan, President Trump spoke to the National Guard in Michigan. Then he spoke to the U.S. base in Qatar recently. And both speeches, Christina, as you saw, as President Trump, so say I'm President Trump, and behind him, everybody is cheering and happy and smiling and so glad to have a leader that's a commander-in-chief that's the real deal. I mean, your reaction just to the fact that the military absolutely loves President Trump.
I think it's huge, because they know what they're giving up when they enlist. They know what they're signing away when they sign their name and say, yeah, I want to be part of the Army or the Navy or even the National Guard. They understand that they're putting their lives at risk, but they know that it's for the greater good. And President Trump, that was a rally in Qatar that you're talking about. How cool for him to have a rally. You know why it's so important for him to do this, and for the upcoming rally that he's having in Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh, is because he gets that immediate reaction. He understands that all this hard work and time that he has put in to making America great again, to making the military great again, that it's appreciated. And I think so often he's just got this bevy of reporters with their sour faces and their sour questioning and the tone that they carry. It's nice for him to get that reaction, like, yeah, okay, I'm doing this for a reason and I am appreciated.
I hope that President Trump, every time he's in that Oval Office and he deals with some ridiculous fake news question, don't get me started, Christina, on the NBC situation from you remember he was showing the video from South Africa and how awful that video was, and then one of the reporters, instead of being in the moment, understanding that we're talking about actual death and grave sites, and then the reporter asks a question about the Qatari airplane. I hope to God that President Trump is thinking and remembering all of the rallies, all of the speeches, all of the times that he was speaking at the debates since 2015 and on. All the times that we, the people, the majority of this entire country has cheered him on, that when those dumb questions happen, or when back in the day, you remember when Zelensky was in there and President Trump's like, I have the cards, you don't have the card. I mean, that was great fireworks, but I hope he always remembers that on Friday, when he's at that Rally Day in America, right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network, he bottles it up. I hope he bottles it up in his mind and his heart, because we love President Trump, because he's a common sense, real deal human being, and we love it. So let's shift gears now to 2026, though. All right, so 2026, we've got the midterm elections. Before we get to that, though, let's talk about the 250th celebration of our country, July 4th. So we've got two huge things to talk about. You were saying how, June 14th of this year is going to be huge, and it's going to be great, and we look forward to covering here at the network. But talk about Iowa, the fairgrounds, for this massive 250th birthday for our country. How awesome is that going to be?
It's amazing. And to know that he's going to be the president as we get to celebrate this great honor. My son, my 5-year-old, and I right now, we're learning about the founding fathers. And we're learning a lot about Alexander Hamilton in particular, George Washington, of course. And to think about how different life was for them 250 years ago, it blows my mind how far this nation has come, and the fact that we are still celebrating the fundamental values that were written into our Constitution way back then, and the success that their decisions and what they've well thought out and put down on paper in the Declaration of Independence, that it's still producing the most beautiful fruit in this country. And, you would think that other countries would have followed the blueprint and tried something like us. And some have, some have made some changes, but America is not to be rivaled in any way. And the biggest part of it is because of the way that our founding fathers carefully wrote out and put together our Constitution. And they didn't get along all the time, They had some pretty robust arguments as well. But they knew that it was all about the greater good. So 250 years later, to be able to celebrate the 4th of July, Independence Day, and knowing how hard our military has had to fight to maintain these freedoms, we should be celebrating it. And I'm so sick of the critics saying, oh, but the price tag. Oh, you know what I mean? It's like, you just wait till 2026, 27, 28 roll around, and we're all rolling in dough because of the decisions that President Trump has made. It's going to be nice. We need a strong economy. I mean, right now it's hard for people to go out and get a cup of coffee, a Starbucks coffee, or, if you like Starbucks, whatever the case is. If you want those little simple luxuries right now, so many are still recovering from the Biden decisions that we don't have that ability. But soon enough, things are going to change. And once the economy gets going, the tide raises for all ships. More money goes back into the economy. More consumers have disposable income. More goods are being bought and sold around the world. Everybody wins.
Also, the big, beautiful bill has to pass the Senate so President Trump can sign it. Also, talking about money, anybody making $30,000 up to $80,000 across our country, if this gets passed and signed into law, 15% tax decrease, tax cut is going to happen. So talk about having some extra change, right? And especially it'd be great if it hurries up and gets there so we can make some trips down to the Gulf of America or go over to the mountains of Colorado or whatever you want to do. You go on vacation. Enjoy America again. Before we talk about the midterms, this book, I keep talking about it. I have no proceeds from it. I just love We the People, and I love this book. This is one maybe you can have for your family too, Christina, because I got it at Cracker Barrel, but you can get it on on Amazon, you can get it anywhere. So, documents and writings of the founding fathers, right? So it has the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, Bill of Rights, Federalist Papers, and all within this book. So we keep it here in the studio because this book and the Bible are two great books, aren't they, Christina?
They're tied hand in hand because the Bible, Christianity was embraced back then. Our founding fathers, they didn't want to force Christianity on America or Americans, but they were believers in God. And that book, there's some great treasures to be found at Cracker Barrel. But no, I have not seen that book before, but what a beautiful piece of history to have right there at RSBN, to have right next to you. And I doubt that they have that at some, CNN. Yeah. I'm sure that they don't, as a matter of fact.
They probably don't have the Bible app on their phone either, let's be honest. But anyway. Yeah, no. So let's shift out to the final topic of the midterms 2026. I think it has to be too big to rig, even though we're still working on election integrity and voting laws and all that, and cleaning up the voter rolls thanks to Doge and the state of Louisiana, the Secretary of State using this database to make sure the rolls are clean. But the point is, the midterms are still huge. And already people like Bernie Sanders are out there rallying around in Pennsylvania to try and get out the vote for midterm elections. But it's like, I hope he got the message that we, the people, the majority of the country, already voted for President Trump, and we're not going to stop being a supporter.
No, you're right. And I mean, President Trump went Pennsylvania. That's Biden's home state. So, I mean, they they did a complete 180 on, Scranton, Pennsylvania. I went to a rally there, and it was huge turnout. So many people in Biden's hometown came to support Donald Trump. I really hope that President Trump does have more rallies because these are, I mean, they're tantamount to a major rock star performing. That is the feeling that you get from the crowd. People are so excited to see him. And there's no better way to muster support for Republican candidates than a Trump rally. So I'm hoping that he will do more rallies. But, the Democrats right now, they've got no one. They're fighting within. David Hogg, they like him one week. The next week, they don't like him. AOC is a front runner for one of the major leaders of the party going forward. That's embarrassing. Okay, that's embarrassing. She came up with the Green New Deal. Bernie Sanders as well, a major socialist. It's just bizarre to me that they cannot get it together. Now, my speculation is, because I'm big into politics, I wouldn't be surprised if a Republican turns just because they see the vulnerability in that party right now and they step up to lead as a Democrat. I would not be surprised if that happened one bit. I think that the midterms, though, as long as we stay on course right now, there's no reason why anybody would be shifting their vote from red to blue.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, all of the states and the counties all shifting red, even in the 2024 election. Before I let you go, Christina, I remember you were here, and so was Robert McNeely. We were all sitting here at the desk. What was that like when we said things like, Georgia goes to President Trump, Pennsylvania goes to President Trump? Let's just be real. It was emotional.
It absolutely was, because I think so many of us recognize that if the Democrats were to have won that election, our country may have hit a low that we could never recover from. And so many of us, especially believers, we saw what was happening, the way that the Palestinian support was growing on these college campuses. It truly was spiritual in nature to really push for President Trump. It became something that coincided with Christianity, being able to not be ashamed or offend anybody by saying Jesus' name in public. It was getting so bad that so many of us were compelled to stand up and speak out and try to get him elected, that all that hard work was culminating into that night where we got to actually see him win and the person that we believed in. And even to this day right now, seeing that he has not strayed from what he said he was going to do, not even an inch. He is who he is. Like you talked about, we know what we have in him, and we are so blessed. And it could have been terrible. If Kamala Harris would have won and been our president, it could have been terrible, not just for this country, for the world.
Christina, there are some, maybe even on the conservative side, that may be watching this live right now and say, okay, well, great, all the accomplishments and all this fluff of we love President Trump and all that. But the point is, there are still things that need to be done, like simply this: law and order, in the sense of justice being served to those that have done illegal acts over the past 4 years, number one. Number two, President Trump on Truth Social calling out and saying things like treasonous thugs on Truth Social. He's talking about treason. So we know that President Trump has got it going on. He understands what he personally had to go through over the past 4 years and even since 2015. But then also, everything that comes against President Trump is indirectly basically coming against freedom, the Constitution, this American soil, our American flag, we the people. So just your thoughts about that this isn't just a fluff piece. Like, yes, we love President Trump. Great. We want things to get done, and they are getting done. But to those that would say, well, what about this and what about that? What would you say to them?
Well, okay, so I'll just play devil's advocate here for a moment, because on Twitter, there are some people who have made a following by just nothing but, oh, President Trump is the best. He's so wonderful. He's so wonderful. And I think that there has to be a fine balance. I don't even think he wants that all the time, to just have everybody praising him, praising him, praising him. He wants to do what's right. On this network, that doesn't happen. You know, you look at the story for what it is. You call out his wins for what they are. I believe that there is a lot of that, though, on Twitter, where people are just like, oh, he's so wonderful. And we see what they're doing. They're trying to get a following for themselves in many cases. So I see how that could be fuel for the Democrats in a way. But at the end of the day, his picture, his presidential portrait says it all. He didn't choose to go in there and smile. The face that he's making there is a reflection of what he had to go through to get back into office, and he fought for it. And he didn't fight for it for himself. He did it for us. And everything since then that he has done, it's not easy. You know, you see the way people talk to him, even on Truth Social. They are mean. They are cruel. And he gets back up. He doesn't let it get to him. And I feel like I love RSBN because RSBN keeps it real just like he does. But there has to be a line between what is authentic and what is just throwing out gratuitous praise in order to get likes and follows. So
exactly. You know, the whole patriot celebrity aspect, like that stuff to the side, this comes down to truth, common sense, the Bible, the Constitution, freedom, we the people, and the fact that President Donald Trump is standing for all of the things that I just said. That's why very openly, you know, we say, hey, we want this common sense leader. We want this commander in chief. And on top of all that, he's got a great personality and he's an alpha male badass. Let's just be calling it. You want to tell it how it is? Let's tell it like it is, right, Christina? So,
and that's what we're lacking in this country right now. We need more alpha male. We need more alpha men. I mean, I want to raise one. I don't want to raise a sissy boy. You know, I want to raise a strong man who wants to provide for his family. So I love that you said that.
So, I mean, that's what we have here. We have a supreme, extreme alpha male in President Trump. And you know what? The people that, even in some in the Republican Party and others out there, like, oh, well, he does this or he says that, that's weakness. Sorry that you're being more beta. You know, don't be beta, be alpha. Understand that, hey, he's doing great things. So that's why we here are like, hey, keep going, President Trump. Keep kicking some serious butt out there. Anyway, enough telling it like it is, Christina. Let's get back to the news.
I like when you tell it like it is. And I think that's why we love him. And another thing about the rally, which I hope everybody tunes in for this coming Friday, or Thursday rather, the fact that he gets to have that candid side. You don't get to see a lot of his humor when he's got all these reporters. I mean, you feel that energy when you're in a room full of people that don't like you, and it's really hard to just be yourself. We get to see that when he's at a rally. We get to hear his humor. We're reminded that this man has a great personality, and he really does care about this country. And so, yeah, we're very blessed, and just to be on this network, to be able to talk about it with you. This is history right now. And everybody who's joining us right now, you're a part of history. So yeah, we're lucky. Who knows if we'll ever have another president like this in our lifetime, Matthew?
I hope we do, for the sake of our country. But you know, the cabinet leaders that President Trump chose, many, almost, I mean, everybody, you know, an extension of President Trump. We the people, we're an extension of all of it. It's a huge family of freedom here, and we just want it to continue to keep happening. And it's the common sense aspect that we're really, really honing in on and saying it's common sense for law and order. It's common sense to be healthy or wealthy. It's common sense to have our constitutional rights continue here in this country. So, all right, Christina Luren, that was fun. That was quite the interview. That was what? I felt like 30 minutes straight.
It just flew by because time flies when you're having a good time and talking about a great man.
Definitely, definitely. Christina Luren, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you. See you soon.
All right, so that was fun. RSBN host Christina Luren, great to see her. Also, great to see Robert McNeely just yesterday, of course, covering the Memorial Day events at Arlington National Cemetery. Let's go through a few sponsors, then we'll have one more guest join us here live. as we're monitoring, different news going on, checking out President Trump's Truth Social account, and also letting you know about programming notes, which I'll let you know about right after this sponsor, Tax Network USA. If you're looking to settle some back taxes and maybe you missed, maybe it was 2018 and it's just been sitting there, it's in the back of your mind, you're like, oh man, I didn't pay that year. Well, just call Tax Network USA, 800-357-1415. They'll work there alongside you, help you get that peace of mind to get that off your mind so you can move forward and have that financial freedom. Hopefully someday, maybe the taxes will continue to drop, like if this big, beautiful bill passes, and maybe someday there won't be an IRS, who knows, but we'll see. But still though, Tax Network USA, patriotic group right there, tnusa.com/RSBN. Also, another great sponsor, callshe.com/RSBN. You see the information right there on your screen, the QR code right there. So callshe.com, you can also go to the app. So if you're looking to bet or trade on various topics, science, technology, politics, weather, sports, whatever you're into, you can do that. Callshe.com/RSBN, a great sponsor here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, as it's just past the bottom of the hour on this Tuesday, May 27th. As soon as we see any kind of live events or press conferences or speeches from the White House, obviously we cover it in full. Looking forward to Friday coming up for Rally Day in America right here on Right Side Broadcasting. I'll share with you a few more programming notes, including the president will be at the G7 in Canada on June 15th to the 17th. So 15th is Father's Day. Haven't heard the logistics on which day he'll be there, and then we'll share that with you once we get it. In the meantime, let's shift gears. Let's go to John Strand with America Frontline Doctors. John, thanks again for joining us on Right Side Broadcasting Network.
Thank you, Matthew. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
There's so many questions I can ask right now, but let's just dive right into the situation with Tina Peters. And I think that, you were talking about the situation in Colorado after Carrie Lake was talking about it, then the Gateway Pundit retruthed you or reposted something of your X page. Talk to us about the situation there.
Yeah, Matthew, we've been reporting on the egregious situation with Tina Peters, Gold Star mom, and a bona fide whistleblower who uncovered very serious corruption related to election fraud in her state of Colorado. And this has been ongoing for quite some time, years now. Yesterday, she posted, or actually we posted on her behalf, a heart-wrenching message that she gave over the phone from prison. I really encourage people to listen to that if they have not. It really tears my heart apart listening to this. And I've been aware of this, reporting on it for some time, but it just crushes you to understand the level of pain, persecution, anxiety, and just the injustice of this situation. Certainly for Tina Peters herself, again, Gold Star mother and a whistleblower, but the implications for the country and everyone that suffers from weaponized government and government corruption. It's a shocking case of whistleblower suppression when we see people who actually take affirmative steps to uncover wrongdoing, particularly in the government, and those people are then retaliated against. That is extremely concerning. Of course, I speak from some painful personal experience on this. But listen to that message. It's heart-wrenching. President Trump certainly does know that she's in this situation. She acknowledges history with him and makes a plea from prison to get me out of here. But Matthew, it's really terrible that she's still there. In addition to being politically persecuted with clear political motives and a cover-up of corruption, she's in very serious physical health danger. And we need to get her out immediately, even if it's simply in an emergency bond release, just to make sure she gets proper nutrition and health care. So it's urgent.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And also the constitutional rights. I mean, all this stuff, this attack against Tina. A shout out to everybody, including you, John, all of the people across the country that would hold Zoom meetings, would talk about it on various podcasts about freeing Tina Peters. Also, President Trump on Truth Social saying free Tina Peters. So keeping it in the news, because we know that the mainstream outlets, they don't even care about we the people. They don't. If they did, I'm gonna tell it like it is today, because it's just after a holiday weekend, John. Let's just talk how it is.
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson got fired from Fox News. Why? Tucker's a great person. He got fired, right? It's like these.
Yeah, immediately after criticizing Big Pharma.
and then on top of that, the whole J6 thing, you know, showing, hey, there's Jacob Chansley walking around the whole thing. He was touching the truth too much. And when you touch the truth too much and you're bought and paid for by bogus stuff against our country, you ain't going to have a job, right, John?
That's right. You're not going to have a life. They'll take everything away from you, your freedom, your reputation, your family. Tina Peters shares that because of this political persecution, she lost her husband. He died unnecessarily, and he died separated from her when, of course, she should have been with him. We actually can give you some breaking news, Matthew, that there's an update in the situation related to Tina Peters. One of President Trump's closest longtime friends and legal advisors, Peter Tickton, and also Trennis Evans of Condemned USA, are joining the case on behalf of Tina Peters. So there is movement to bring more attention to this situation. And again, there's two things going on. One is the reason that they persecuted her and put her in prison is because she uncovered corruption. Another is that in the course of this political persecution, her life is being unnecessarily threatened. So I'm calling on the Trump administration to move with more urgency and assign Tina Peters as a witness to a federal case in order to procedurally, with an administrative move, expedite her bond release, get her out of there because she's in very literal physical danger. I spent time in prison, harsh conditions, abusive, and I know how terrible it is. It is horrific. And Tina Peters is older and has serious health implications. So we need to get her out of there immediately just to preserve her life. And then, of course, it is directly connected to the issue of election fraud and election integrity. And if we don't have free and fair elections, we do not have constitutional rights any longer, and we do not have a country. It will be taken from us. So it's that serious. Tina Peters, of course, is the flashpoint, and we have to press on this issue and demand a full investigation and an uncovery of the truth.
So, false prosecution against Tina, false prosecution against you. Can you tell us about when you were exonerated from, was it the Supreme Court, right? They came in with a ruling. They said, wait, this guy's not supposed to be in jail. What the heck?
Yeah, I was vindicated by the Fisher decision on June 28th, where the Supreme Court overturned the fraudulent usage of 1512 against political protesters. I was later fully exonerated of all 5 charges against me when the DOJ vacated my entire case, erasing it as if it had never happened, a complete annulment. This is essentially the judiciary's process to say, we messed up, we never should have brought the charges to begin with, you're innocent, there is no guilt because we haven't even charged you anymore. So I was completely exonerated of every charge, but it was a war. And I suffered greatly in the course of that experience. So I can understand some elements of what a hero like Tina Peters is suffering through. She's suffering on our behalf to protect our constitutional rights and the integrity of our elections. And also just she's doing what God calls all of us to do, which is exercise uncomfortable courage, meaning do what you know is right in a moment where it's difficult and it might cost you. And she did that because she knows how important election integrity is. She uncovered shocking manipulation of data. She uncovered that Jenna Griswold, the counterpart in Colorado, who's now, I believe, the Secretary of State there, tampered with evidence and tampered with election records. So there is serious corruption involving our elections. We know this. Like you mentioned, Kari Lake has been championing this issue. Many others have spoken about it. But Tina Peters is rotting in prison and on the verge of dying because of this corruption and this cover-up. And it's an absolute travesty. It's outrageous. Americans need to continue to demand justice and accountability for this.
I'm so glad you're on with us, John. I'm glad that the Gateway Pundit also reposted your post on X. I'm glad that you've got your finger on the pulse of this situation. We talk about it here. We did start talking about it more after President Trump posted about it. It was definitely on my mind as well. So looking forward to seeing her free. Also, John, before I let you go, as it's 12:41 here on this Tuesday, May 27th, you were talking about what it was like for you while you were in solitary confinement as well for, 4 months at one point?
4 months, yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. God and grit. That's the only way you were able to make it through, right?
You nailed it, Matthew. 100%, that is the truth. That is the answer. God and grit. Well said. Like I like to call it uncomfortable courage, but it is God that commanded us to be strong and courageous. It is God that commanded us, fear not. Do not be afraid. We have nothing to fear. We fear only God. and nothing else. So we kneel to God and we stand for our principles, our flag, our country, and our countrymen and women. So we stand now for Tina Peters. We call and demand that justice be delivered, that she be rescued, that the election fraud she uncovered be completely investigated and resolved. Election integrity is a fundamental right in our country. We must fight for it or the country will be lost. And we continue that fight day in and day out, Matthew.
John Strand with American Frontline Doctors. John, always good to have you with us and talk light into the darkness. Thank you, John.
Amen. Absolutely. It's an honor. Thank you so much, Matthew. God bless you guys.
You too. Thank you. 12:42, Tuesday, May 27th. Speaking of 27, it's the 127th day of President Trump's second administration. This is today. Looking forward to the week. Looking forward to Friday, May 30th, Pittsburgh. Pirate fans, Penguin fans, Steeler fans, the Three Rivers. I went to college out there. If you've ever been out there, Mount Washington overlooks the city. And you're eye level with the middle of the high rises there. It's a great, great look. Anyway, President Trump, huge rally there at U.S. Steel on Friday. We'll have our coverage, of course. We've always covered rallies here since day one, 2015. Can you believe it? This summer will be 10 years for Right Side Broadcasting Network. 10 years of common sense coverage, of full speeches, and how fun is it when our camera operators over the years, and we still have many of them, are able to see the full crowd at the events. That, it really is a telling thing because the mainstream media, they would always, you might hear the crowd. They'd show the speaker, say I'm the speaker, and you only see a few people behind me, and you hear the crowd, and the cameras wouldn't ever move. They didn't want to show the excitement. They didn't want to show the passion. They didn't want to show people from all walks of life that look different than you or me, maybe. Who cares? All of us together. God's children cheering for President Trump, chanting USA. If you remember Rapid City, South Dakota, it's that one and Miami, Florida. So Miami, Florida, I think it was November 2022. And then it was September 8th, 2023 in Rapid City. I'm going to go over these real quick because they're just great memories. And since we're on the rally topic, got a few more minutes left, and then we'll go into some of the programming coming up, and also maybe check some Truth Social posts as well before we wrap up. But again, anything that happens live, if you're just joining us, Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, had a meeting with some Polish leaders recently, actually this morning. We aired that at the top of the broadcast. So if you missed any coverage today, you could always scrub back. But let me just go over these two quick stories, and then we'll go to some Truth Social posts, and we'll be wrapping up here soon, and also talking about the future programming schedule. So November 2022, somebody that is actually working today in studio was with me and another colleague. We were out there in Miami, Florida, President Trump outside, beautiful Miami, right? My grandpa's from Cuba, it's just cool. We're having, Latin music's playing, talking about Donald Trump, and everybody's waiting and cheering loud. And guess what? A huge storm comes through. You see the clouds. I talk about that radar scope app on my phone sometimes. I love that radar scope app. I'm seeing the red and the purples and the white. And this storm comes through, and President Trump, with his hat on, continues his speech. Doesn't stop. The wind, the rain, the lightning, the thunder. The crowd standing there soaking wet, cheering, USA, USA. These are the moments that I hope President Trump remembers when the fake news is asking him BS questions at the Oval Office. And he said, and if you want to go back and look at it, I have it on my Truth Social if you want to look at Matthew Alvarez. You got to scroll way back though. But he said, this has got to be the best rally ever. And yes, he was saying that for that one, and all the rallies are awesome. But for the people to stay there and to be chanting and cheering, soaking wet, Trump just ripping that speech to the end. And then in Rapid City, South Dakota, September 8th, 2023, inside a beautiful arena there, beautiful South Dakota, the crowd's chanting USA, the waves happening. Hopefully we get some of those vibes on Friday in Pittsburgh. But Here's the story, though. So you remember when there was music towards the end of the speeches with President Trump? He would kind of pause and then start his ending of the speech. Well, he paused for about 40 seconds to a minute, and the crowd just started swelling with more cheers, and he stayed quiet because of the things that he was saying. It's almost like we know he feels it, but he felt it that day. And it was a great, great moment in time. Rapid City, South Dakota. So rally coming up on Friday. Looking forward to having that coverage here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. As the future schedule outside of that, June 14th, Flag Day, President Trump's birthday, and the United States military's 250th parade. What we're told is there are about 6,600 soldiers, 150 vehicles, 50 helicopters to follow a route from Arlington, Virginia to the National Mall, all starting at the Pentagon. Fireworks to follow. And then the next day on the 15th to the 17th, there's the G7 in Canada. President Trump will be taking part in that. We'll have specifics as we get it. All of this brought to you by some great sponsors, allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, methylene blue, essential medications. We're talking more than 200. There's antibiotics. There's the stuff that we've all heard of, like penicillin, amoxicillin. It's all there. You can get a health kit, a first aid kit, a travel kit. You can order in bulk. And also this RSBN 20 code. This just happened. It was 10% off just a couple weeks ago. Now it's 20% up until the end of June. So we look forward to continuing our work with All Family Pharmacy, as President Trump, of course, recently signed that powerful executive order to lower prescription drug prices across the country. But while the system is, getting into next gear, this pharmacy is not waiting. It's allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Also, Colonial Metals Group. Get a free info kit on gold and silver. So freegoldguy.com/RSBN. You can use the QR code as well. Gold, silver, backed in tax sheltered IRAs, 401ks, all 100% tax free. Great company there, Colonial Metals Group. Looking forward to interviewing some of the people there here soon, Colonial Metals Group. Also, mypillow.com/RSBN. Maybe you went to the beach this weekend. I don't know. But I know that I would love to go to the Gulf of America, and I should probably get some of these items right there. 50% off beach sale. Use that promo code RSBN so we can, of course, help out MyPillow and also indirectly help out Right Side Broadcasting Network. So use that promo code RSBN, mypillow.com/RSBN. All right, so about 11 minutes to the top of the hour. Thanks again for streaming in live. This is RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez. Thanks again for watching. Let's rewind a little bit. Let's see if there's a video we can play for those of you that are just joining us right now, maybe just on with your day and checking us out for a second. There's a number of videos that we played earlier today. President Trump spoke at, of course, Arlington National Cemetery yesterday. And Director, if we can play the video of him speaking there, it's about a minute soundbite. We'll get to that in just a second as soon as it's ready, as we'll be closing out the broadcast here shortly. Let me double check on Truth Social as well to see if there are any new posts from the president. About an hour ago, he said, what Vladimir Putin doesn't realize is that if it weren't for me, lots of really bad things would have already happened to Russia. And I mean really bad. He's playing with fire. President Trump saying that about an hour ago. And of course, we're seeing on our site here on Truth Social at RSBN 14 minutes ago, President Trump poised to hold California governor accountable for transgender athletes' domination of women's track competition. So yeah, if you just check out Truth Social, you'll see all these different posts there. And so what we're going to do next is just the soundbite that we played earlier of just the minute soundbite from President Trump. There's a video that we have, Director, if you can maybe get to that one, as we are about 9 minutes out from the top of the hour here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. So let's go to President Trump. Just yesterday, of course, a huge speech there with the Vice President as well, the Secretary of Defense. Let's, in the meantime, go to President Trump from just yesterday.
The sacrifice that they made was not merely for a single battle, a long-ago victory, or a fleeting triumph, decades or centuries past. Their sacrifice was for today, tomorrow, and every morning thereafter. Every child that lives in peace, every home that is filled with joy and love. Every day the Republic stands is only possible because of those who did what had to be done when duty called, and the cost was everything to them and to their families. Our debt to them is eternal, and it does not diminish with time. It only grows and grows and grows with each passing year. The greatest monument to their courage is not carved in marble or cast in bronze. It's all around us, an American nation, 325 million strong, which will soon be greater than it has ever been before. It will be.
Great speech yesterday. Speaking of the great speech yesterday, we're actually going to play it in full because it was absolutely powerful. And those of you that listened to every word yesterday, and just because I'm on camera and this is a national broadcast, I'm just going to be honest with you though, there were points of that speech yesterday that welled up with tears because he was talking to, and you're going to hear it in the speech again, he was talking to some of the family members of lost soldiers, to a wife and to a couple daughters. And for the first time for me and my wife, we have a 7-month-old, right? It's our first baby. It's the first baby I've ever had. And it's amazing. You understand things obviously at a different level when you have kids, right? Well, I knew, but I didn't know until now. So when you hear these speeches and you hear how the president delivered this yesterday from the heart, it's pretty powerful stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to play that. It's about 18 minutes long, and then we'll wrap the broadcast after that. And we'll continue on. Tomorrow's another day. If there's any breaking news later today, of course, we'll have it right here on the channel, or you could follow us all over the social media platforms out there. America, we love you guys. Seriously. We look forward to seeing you at the rally, too, at least watching here on Right Side. Let's watch President Trump's speech from just yesterday.
Please introduce your president, the people's president, the president who knows what these men and women, what they sacrificed for, and who honors them every single day in the job that he does, President Trump.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Very special place and a very special day. Thank you to Vice President Vance, doing a terrific job. Thanks also to a man who has devoted his life to service members and veterans, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, who's doing really well. He went through a lot, didn't he? But he's doing really well. He's a tough cookie. That's what we want, is a tough cookie. And we're grateful to be joined as well by Chairman Kaine, terrific military person, members of the Cabinet, members of Congress, members of the United States Armed Forces, veterans, and many other distinguished guests. We gather today to honor the incredible service members who rest in glory in this cemetery and burial grounds around the world and in 1,000 lonely places known only to God. In every hour of peril, in every moment of crisis, American warriors have left behind the blessings of home and family to answer their nation's call. They've offered all that they had within them and given their last breaths to each and every one of us that we might live safe and breathe free. This morning we pay tribute to their immortal deeds. We share in the sorrow of their beloved families, and as one nation we give thanks for the ultimate gift they have so selflessly given to all of us. These warriors, and that's what they are, as great, great warriors, picked up their mantle of duty and service, knowing that to live for others meant always that they might die for others. They knew that. They asked nothing for it. They gave everything, and we owe them everything and much, much more. Each of the service members who have made the supreme sacrifice for our nation has also left an unfillable void and an unbreakable silence in the lives of all who love them. For the families of the fallen, you feel the absence of your heroes every day in the family. These are great families. These are wonderful families. In the familiar laugh no longer heard, the empty space at Sunday dinner, or the want of a hug or a pat on the back that will never come again. Every Gold Star family fights a battle long after the victory is won, and today we lift you up and we hold you high. Thank you, thank you, thank you for giving America the brightest light in your lives. It's what you've done. We will never, ever forget our fallen heroes, and we will never forget our debt to you. This Memorial Day is especially significant as we commemorate 250 years since the first American patriots fell on the field of battle. 2.5 centuries ago at Lexington Green, Concord Bridge, Bunker Hill, brave Minutemen and humble farm boys became the first to give their lives for a nation that did not yet have a name. With their deaths, men like John Brown, 23, Samuel Hadley, 28, and Abner Hosner, 21, ignited the flame of liberty that now lights the inspires everybody and the entire world. Those young men could never have known what their sacrifice would mean to us, but we certainly know what we owe to them. Their valor gave us the freest, greatest, and most noble republic ever to exist on the face of the earth, a republic that I am fixing after a long and hard 4 years. That was a hard 4 years we went through. Who would let that happen? People pouring through our borders unchecked, people doing things that are indescribable and not for today to discuss. But the republic that is now doing so very well, we're doing so very well right now, considering the circumstances, and will do record-setting better with time. We will do better than we've ever done as a nation, better than ever before. I promise you that. In every generation since, at Trenton and Yorktown, at Vicksburg and Shiloh, and in faraway places with names like Chateau, Terrari, Anzio, Iwo Jima, Quezon, Kandahar, really just a few chosen names, and these are names that have become so important on the altar of freedom. They plunged into the crucible of battle, stormed into the fires of hell, charged into the valley of death, and rose into the arms of angels. The sacrifice that they made was not merely for a single battle, a long ago victory, or a fleeting triumph, decades or centuries past. Their sacrifice was for today, tomorrow, and every morning thereafter. Every child that lives in peace, every home that is filled with joy and love, every day the Republic stands is only possible because of those who did what had to be done when duty called, and the cost was everything to them and to their families. Our debt to them is eternal, and it does not diminish with time. It only grows and grows and grows with each passing year. The greatest monument to their courage is not carved in marble or cast in bronze. It's all around us, an American nation, 325 million strong, which will soon be greater than it has ever been before. It will be. And so today we uphold the memory of our heroes, as people have done since ancient times, by telling their stories and exalting their names. Senior Master Sergeant Elroy Harworth was a young, beautiful man from Earhart, Minnesota, when he enlisted in the Air Force and was sent to Vietnam. 59 years ago this very week, Elroy and his crewmates climbed into the dark skies over Da Nang on a classified mission known as Operation Carolina Moon. Their aim was to blow up a key enemy bridge, and while other crews had tried and failed, they were determined to try and get it done in face of extreme danger, and they knew how bad it was. As their C-130 closed in on its target and Elroy jockeyed his 5,000 pounds of explosives into position, the aircraft came under unbelievably intense fire. They'd never seen anything like it. Try as they might, they were hit as the plane swung low and they went down deep in enemy territory. Elroy was just 24 years old when he gave his life for America, leaving behind a beautiful young wife who was 7 months pregnant. That meant Elroy would never know the joy of meeting his son Troy or seeing him grow, and he would never have the pride to watch his son follow in his father's footsteps and serve 2 decades in the U.S. Army. Sergeant First Class Troy Harworth is with us today, joined by his wife Sonia and their son John, the grandson Elroy never got to hold. Thank you, Troy, and thank you, John, and above all, thank you, Elroy. Thank you very much. Please stand up. Thank you, wherever you may be. Thank you very much. Great family. Corporal Ryan McGee of Fredericksburg, Virginia, knew from the time he saw the towers fall on 9/11 that he wanted to be an Army Ranger. He was an American guy, all American. He was a tough guy. He was the top of everything. In high school, he was captain of the football team and was voted friendliest and most charming by his peers. Ryan joined the Army soon after graduation, and after 3 tours in Afghanistan, he deployed to Iraq. He and his unit were tasked with hunting down a weapon facilitator and a suicide bomber cell near Baghdad, a vicious, vicious cell, killing many, many people. 16 years ago this month, they engaged the enemy in a firefight, and Ryan was mortally wounded. He gave his life at 21 years old, and today he rests until the end of time in the famed Section 60 here at Arlington, where we have buried our honored dead from the War on Terror. We are joined today by Ryan's mom, Sherry, and Sherry, all of America shares in your grief, and more importantly, we share in your pride in your wonderful son. And thank you so much for being here, Sherry. Please, Sherry. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you very much. On behalf of everyone. This crowd is so big, she's hard to find. Once I saw her, she really stands out. Thank you, Sherry, very much. Senior Chief Petty Officer Shannon Kent grew up in Pine Plains, New York, before enlisting in the Navy in 2003. And she quickly became one of the rising stars. She was an absolute winner. As a linguist, translator, and cryptologic technician, Shannon worked alongside elite special force units like Delta Force and Navy SEALs to help them capture and kill terrorists. She was among the first women ever to do it, and she did it better than anyone. In January 2019, Shannon was on her 5th combat deployment, embedded with a team hunting ISIS terrorists through the streets of Syria when a suicide bomber detonated his weapon, killing Senior Chief Kent and 3 other wonderful, beautiful Americans. She left behind her husband, Joe, and their 2 sons, 3-year-old Colt and 18-month-old baby Josh. Today, Shannon rests in peace on these grounds alongside her comrades. To her boys, Colt and Josh, who are here this morning, now aged 9 and 7, let me say your mom was a hero, and her love, her strength, and her spirit are always with us and always be with you. She loved her boys. To Joe, the boys, Shannon's parents, Mary and Stephen, and her sister Mariah, Shannon's name will live forever in the chronicles of true American patriots. I just want to thank you, and thank you so much for being here in honor of your magnificent family member. Stories like Shannon's, Ryan's, and Elroy's remind us of the real meaning of the day. And I want to just say, please stand up wherever you may be. The boys, I want to see those boys. Where are you? Yeah, good-looking guys. Thank you very much for being here. All of you, thank you so much. We should never forget, even for a moment, that freedom is a gift of the highest cost and peace is won at the most precious price. These extraordinary American heroes and their immense and ultimate sacrifices they offer only the faintest glimpse at the infinite grace we have received from all who laid down their lives for America. Over the past 250 years, we're going to have a big celebration, as you know, 250 years. In some ways, I'm glad I missed that second term where it was, because I wouldn't be your president. For that most important of all, in addition, we have the World Cup and we have the Olympics. Can you imagine? I missed that 4 years, and now look what I have. I have everything. Amazing the way things work out. God did that. I believe that too. God did it. You know, I got the World Cup and I got the Olympics. The 250 years was not mine. I'd like to take credit. But I got the Olympics, I got the World Cup when I was president. And I said, boy, it's too bad I won't be president then. And look what happened. I turned out, and we're going to have a great time. We're going to have a great celebration. But most important of all is the 250th anniversary. That blows everything away, including the World Cup and including the Olympics, as far as I'm concerned. In any corner of this cemetery, at any resting place for our war dead, anywhere on earth, you'll find untold stories of equal heroism and heartbreak unmatched, patriotism and devotion and acts of selflessness and courage so enormous they defy comprehension. Most people can't even imagine it. Great poets have written that it's love which moves the sun and the stars, but here on the sacred soil, right where we are, we're reminded that it's love which moves the course of history and moves it always toward freedom, always. From Bunker Hill to Bastogne to Cantigny to Coral Sea, from Gettysburg to Guadalcanal and Concord to Kabul. America's best and America's bravest have fought, bled, and died so that we could pick up the torch of liberty, raise it high, 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 and carry it onward to places they could never have dreamed of before. Today we honor their memory. We remember their gallantry. We just revere, in the highest sense, we just revere their incredible legacy. We salute them in their eternal and everlasting glory, and we continue our relentless pursuit of America's destiny as we make our nation stronger, prouder, freer, and greater than ever before. May God bless our fallen heroes. May God bless our Gold Star families, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much, everybody. Great honor. Thank you.
Within the 24/7 news cycle right there, President Trump, great speech there yesterday at Arlington National Cemetery. The Vice President's speech, the Secretary of Defense as well, just powerful speeches that many of you saw just yesterday. Of course, if you missed anything, you could always scrub back or rewind or replay it right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Okay, so we'll be back live tomorrow, and if there's any other breaking news or anything that happens, we'll be here on the channel today. So depending on what happens out there, but definitely back here live tomorrow. And then, of course, looking forward to Friday, Rally Day in America in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We thank all of our sponsors here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. And for all of us here at Right Side, those that are on camera or behind the scenes, regardless, all of us as a family, we thank you for watching. Thank you for being a loyal viewer. And let's just keep kicking the mainstream media's butt as much as possible when it comes to conservative media as a whole, because we're on the right side of history. It's common sense. It's all about our nation, all about freedom. And we love President Trump and we love this country. So thank you again for watching. I'm Matthew Alvarez. We'll see you again soon.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat live show. Look, don't forget to check me out right here on RSBN Network. Be sure to watch the show on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. Yes, it's imperative that you do so, okay? I look to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
To celebrate our newest launch, Rev 7, I'm bringing you an amazing introductory offer, plus an exclusive overstock sale that you're not going to want to miss. Rev 7 is our premium energy drink that tastes great and gives you energy all day with no jitters and no crashes. That's because there's no sugar and no caffeine. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7 that for a limited time you can try our 3-pack absolutely free. Or check out our Percale bed sheets. I can't believe I'm even going to say this. Every color, every style, every size, only $29.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% on our Rev 7 12-packs or try our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. And our Percale bed sheets, all sizes only $29.88, even the queens and kings. Inventory is extremely limited, so order now.